Okay. Why should you treat people like children? Why? Yeah, I'm going to talk about that now. I'll try to make it quick because I have something to do in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So basically, um, what I try to remember when I interact with people. Now, there are some exceptions here, and I'll get back to that. But essentially, what I try to do when I interact with people is that I try to imagine that they're children. Hi, Corona Foxtrot and KP Heathen. Good to see you. Woodsman Bushcraft. Good to see you. So, I actually saw a thumbnail on YouTube that said that, that I think that was one of those channels that are very hostile towards women. That's a specific segment on YouTube, on social media, I guess. And why you should treat women as children, basically. But I think that goes for not only women but also men. The main reason is that people these days are, generally speaking, quite immature. They have also had their attention span shortened or, you know, completely destroyed by scrolling on their smartphone all day. So, generally speaking, I tend to treat people like children, or I try to do that. I try to remember that the person you're talking to now, the person you're interacting with now, is not really an adult. They never grew up. They are not really this is not an adult. And as I said, there are exceptions, and I'll get back to those. And what I have found is that interactions work a lot better if you treat people like children. With children, now, this is a little bit like tongue in cheek, I'm saying this. But if you think about it, I do have a point here, because children like to get attention. They like to be entertained. And if you go the further, the younger the child is, the more self-obsessed that child is, like I don't know, a little toddler. The toddler's world it's just his or her needs, and the mother, and that's natural, of course. But essentially, people love to talk about themselves, and this goes into YouTube content as well. If you want to get many views, try to imagine, and I've said this to people who have reached out to me so many times. If you want to get many views, try to imagine that your audience is children, basically. So if you only care about the views, that's what you should think about. Now, I don't do that myself, because I do believe I have a different audience on my channels. But I do see, I can see how it works. Now, children are also they tend to get angry easily and happy easily. So they don't have this. They don't practice stoicism. A child will not practice stoicism. And I've said many times we should practice stoicism as adults. And if you think about it, It's a little bit like that with people. Now, if you interact with people in that you don't know, imagining that they are not really adults, they never got to maturity, even though they got to sexual maturity, they didn't go to emotional maturity. Things tend to go easier in that interaction. Low expectations. I have very low expectations with people. I don't expect anything basically from people, and I get pleasantly surprised when people behave in an adult and responsible way. Um, so now there are exceptions, of course. I would never say that my professional interactions with my publishers in the different countries, I would never say that those my editors and the marketing people and so on, that they are behaving like children. That would be, obviously, that would be wouldn't make any sense at all. And obviously, also when I make a video, let's say I talk about some aspect of the Viking Age, I'm not talking to people. I don't imagine my audience as children doing that. Um, but if I did, imagine if I did, or actually, we can look at other channels that seems to. I don't know if that's how they're thinking or if they're thinking at all, but the videos that in the historical segment on YouTube, that the videos that tend to do well are videos that basically would entertain a child, you know, and they don't care about the facts. Uh, so we all know, we all seen these channels now, and um, so it's interesting if you think about it. If you just, or rather, if you try, maybe your day will go easier. you know um, if you one area where you see a lot of children is if you go to a commercial gym. I would say that you have childlike behavior there. You have the boy that is insecure and who feels that if he can buy some steroids and get big muscles, let's face it. I mean, if these physiques you see these days and the way that they are getting to that size that quickly, it's steroids. It's not natural. It just isn't. They're boys. They're not adults. They are boys. They want the attention from the mirror, and they want attention from girls. And they think that they will get attention from girls because they have a big biceps. Sorry, that's not how it works. But, well, you might get attention from very immature girls. But, maybe they don't care about that. Or maybe they would not be able to identify that kind of behavior themselves, obviously. So now, um, yeah, so this has a very serious aspect, and that is the fact that many of these children have children themselves. Now, I will give you an example. Many years ago, my son, when he was little, he was doing the football. He was playing football, or soccer, as the Americans say. And the parents were asked to join a pre-Christmas celebration at a restaurant or bar. So I was there, and I don't know, but at least half of the parents there displayed childlike and very immature behavior. Now, I don't go out much, um, and obviously there was alcohol. They got drunk, of course. So that's part of the explanation, I guess. But even before they got drunk, I could observe that, and my hearing was better back then, so I could actually hear that they their conversations were essentially the same kind of conversation that they probably had when they were 12 years old. Um, and and that's sad because a large part of the population, they never grow up and they never get to have any form of deep conversation, or they don't practice deep thinking. I mean, do these people ever sit or walk alone and think about the deeper aspects of our existence? I don't think so. Now, I'm sure you've heard that there are some people out there who don't have an inner dialogue. And I don't know if it's true, but I hope it's not. But how do those people operate? They're just mindless drones. And it was like they say it's a big portion of the population. They don't have an inner dialogue. Um, so I don't know. Now, as I said, I really need to specify that this doesn't go for everyone. Now, if someone, uh, Jamie, for instance, you've been here following her for a long time. If someone treated you like a child and spoke to you like you were a child, you wouldn't like that because you're not a child. So it doesn't go for everyone, right? But how many? I think we're talking a large part of the population. You know, now some people they have to grow up very early, even as early when they should remain as even in the childhood. Suddenly you have to grow up very suddenly. I had to grow up overnight, basically, and that's not a good thing. But I think actually um, it's better than remaining that kind of immature brat your whole life. Yeah. Not as simple as that. Yeah, yeah, I guess it's not as simple as that. No inner dialogue studies. I have to look further into that. But um, so yeah, if you're immature and you have a child, it's not a good thing, right? Now, some people they suddenly become very mature and responsible when they become parents, of course. Um, but yeah, this is an attitude that is frowned upon. Of course, it is because it it means that you feel that you're better than other people. Now, here's an inconvenient truth. I am better than some other people, and you are better than some other people. We're not all the same. We're not all the same. And that should be obvious. Like, people say these things, and you shouldn't think that you're better than anyone. Well, you should, because you are. Like, are you better than a serial killer? Are you a better human being than a serial killer? Yes, you are. Like, obviously. So, but still, people say that you shouldn't think that you're better than anyone. Well, rubbish. You should, because you are. Are we better than those people who are still children when they are legally adults? I'll leave that up to you, but to decide. But I don't know. Now we see this childlike behavior everywhere. We see it in politics, and I think that as a Norwegian looking at the USA and the debates there, honestly, the last thing with the Trump and first Biden and then Kamala Harris. Now, I'm not going to say that Trump or Kamala Harris are stupid. I think that's not true. I think none of them are stupid, but they know that they have to talk in a certain way because of the audience. Now, Biden was senile, but looking at that is just sad. We have tendencies. We are getting there. So no need to worry. Norwegian politicians are getting there. But yeah, that was like two people standing there trying to get the support of a bunch of brats, immature children on both sides. And I honestly think that I hope that that's not a good strategy. I don't know, but um, again, overly simplified. You're being a very critical person to me today, Kat. Um, you're saying that you're not better than anyone at everything. No, I'm just saying that you're a better human being than a serial killer. Okay, you are. That's not simplified. That's just a fact. At least I think so. Um, but so you see it in politics, and you see how politics change and the talking points change to suit the voters. And now it's like if you compare the political debates now to the political debates, let's say 20 years ago, it's so different. It's so different. Now it's just two people arguing. It it looks like two or more. And we don't have the two-party system here, but it looks like a bunch of immature people arguing. You know, cheap talking points and all of that. Um, yeah, so it's a bit sad. So again, life advice: if you want to interact with people without too much friction, treat people like no. Imagine that the ones that you are interacting with are children. Um, that's what I think. And then there are exceptions, and yeah, but in the when I'm out in the general public, I don't. If I have to interact with people, I do not expect anything above very immature behavior. Uh, so yeah. Um, let's see here. Yeah, Jeffrey, I'm sorry. YouTube now is I don't know if YouTube is shadow banning this channel. They are shadow banning my main channel because I had some videos stolen and I filed a copyright complaint, and YouTube responded by striking me with a copyright strike and removing one of the videos that were stolen. So yeah, it's upside down. It's crazy. And YouTube is just yeah. By the way, when I have to interact with YouTube, I treat them as children. Now, I don't know how much of that interaction is just interacting with a machine. They claim that there are humans there that I interact with, but nevertheless, I treat them like children. I make things very, very simple to understand, very simple. Uh, so yeah, there's a lot more that could be said about this. I just wanted to share this thought, this idea that I popped up here. I should mention this. I thought so. Yeah. Um, you think that I am correct or not? I'm sure that people, as usual, will put their abuse in the comment section. Um, so it's uh, it's business as usual. Yeah. Okay. Now, go to my website or go to my Patreon if you want to know what I'm up to. Um, YouTube can't be trusted. I don't know. As I said, I don't know what's going to happen with my channels in the future on YouTube. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah. Yeah, I'm on Rumble too. There is no money in Rumble though. But of course, there is hardly. Very soon, there won't be any money in YouTube either if it continues this way. Um, uh, I have to go. I have to go now. But yeah, I'm on my website. You can see the website address there. You can subscribe to my website. You can go to my Patreon, link in the video description. You can join my Patreon for free, and then you will be notified when I upload new videos. I don't put my live streams on there because it's too much work, honestly, to do that. But yeah, okay. How I might put my live streams there in the future. We will see. We will see. Um, we will see. I might do. Yeah, I am doing Patreon. Exclusive content for the paying members on Patreon too. I'm going to do a giveaway for the paying members on Patreon. Very nice stuff there, you know. So okay, yes. Have a wonderful evening or morning, and we will talk soon.